Are you optimistic about the next 12 months?
Yes. So, Francine, look, I think, again, it's great to be back over here and to speak to you just in advance of Davos again. Clearly, the past 12 months have seen a lot of volatility and turmoil. But long run, I think we are very optimistic, right? The way in which technology is transforming the world, the promise of AI and what it can do to multiple industries, the coming together of the digital and the physical worlds. There's just so much happening that it's hard not to be optimistic about the long-term prospects for our industry and for enterprises in general.
So what does it mean on how it changes your company, how AI changes your company? Does it change the way people are spending, what products you're offering?
Sure.
And actually, how do you defend from fakes?
Sure. So I think, look, what AI really does is that it is transforming entire industries, right? So the first thing that we're doing is that we're looking at all of the offerings that we have. Let's say that we have an offering in, for our telecom clients around how we make their networks more autonomous and more effective. We are now able to use AI to really reduce the power consumption of the networks, to make the networks more self-healing, for instance. So it is, how do we infuse AI into each and every single service line that we have, and how do we use it to transform entire industries? From our own perspective, obviously, it has meant a huge amount of training, right? So, over 30,000 people, for instance, trained in pair programming. It has meant looking at our own processes and seeing how we can use AI to make these a lot more efficient. Yeah. It is a lot of things, right? Yeah. So what we're trying to do is to get away from point solutions, because there are clearly ways in which AI will transform the contact center. What we're trying to do with our customers is to have a view on how AI will transform entire industries.
Yeah, but can you give us a glimpse of how you think they'll transform? Because again, it's so large that it probably changes everything we'll do in the future. Yeah. But will it come quicker than we think, or will it be slower? And can you give me a concrete example?
Sure. So I'll give you a couple of very interesting examples, right? So for one, we're working with an auction house. And if you know auction house and art dealers, for instance, there are often a lot of damaged artwork or damaged paintings. Now, how do you envisage or imagine what the artwork will look like when it's restored? And I thought this was just a phenomenal use case of AI being able to fill in the gaps in the artwork, of imagining what a restored artwork would look like. There's another very interesting example that we did with a very large furniture retailer. And in the sort of the aftermath of the Barbie movie, they wanted to take their entire catalog and turn it pink. Now, if you can imagine, taking a catalog and turning it pink would have meant sort of designers working over weeks and weeks, right? Now, in this case, we were able to use Gen AI and be able to transform their entire catalog into pink almost overnight, right? So I think these are just two sort of interesting examples of the use of AI. But if I look at it more systematically, if I look at the telecom business, for instance, which is a very significant portion of our, of our business, whether it is from a contact center perspective or from a network perspective or from a product management perspective, what can AI do for the various parts of the business? And so therefore, what is the level of, of automation, productivity, improved customer service that you can drive? We're coming up with a very comprehensive point of view for each industry, for telecom, for manufacturing, for financial services, for healthcare. And again, you asked about the speed.
Yeah.
And my sense is, look, again, like every technology, right, it will be slow to take off, but ultimately prove to be a lot more transformational in the long run than we can imagine now.
Amongst your clients, who do you think will spend more in 2024 in terms of industry groups? I know some of the carriers are struggling, some of healthcare is doing quite well. Do you already have a good idea of who's in a better shape?
Well, it's hard to say just now, and again, we do have a very robust and global client base. On the whole, the American clients seem to have held on better than, than the rest of the world. We do see manufacturing as a sector that has continued to power through the slowdown. I do think that banking and financial services, which is a $1 billion plus industry for us, will come back, this year. So that's how we see the world. And again, for telecom players, right, I feel that the opportunity for them to reinvent themselves, to get more closer to the customer, to drive revenue growth is absolutely there. And I do see again, sort of early seeds of optimism in that industry.
Yeah, but are there spending pressures? And again, what does it mean for the medium-term, I guess, outlook for revenue?
Yeah. So look, I mean, we're in a silent period just now. We announced our results later this month. But on the whole, I do feel that, given how the global economy is shaping up, the bottom didn't fall out of the economy last year. And we're hopeful that by the second half of the year, we should see an uptick in spend. And that is what all the, all the analyst firms are calling for as well. And anecdotally, in conversations with our clients, again, January is going to be very important, right? Because January is typically when, the bottom falls out of the market. And if we can hold on to this optimism towards the end of the month, I feel we're set for a better year.
Do you think it's real optimism, or is it mainly because 2023 was a funny year?
Yeah.
I know this is not like CFA level 5, but we were expecting it to be a terrible year. And every 3 months it was, look, we're going to see a recession. We never saw it materialize. So again, how much of this optimism is compared to last year, and how much of it is actually seeing green shoots?
Yeah. But my own sense is that, look, the pessimistic position always sounds more intellectually robust and sound, right? And the optimistic position always sounds a little bit somebody trying to push an agenda or somebody trying to sell something. But I do feel that in the long run, enterprises need to spend on technology. Many of them have already lost the year by cutting back discretionary spending fairly significantly. I do feel that if the economies grow even at the lower end of what has been forecast, we should see a better year than 2023.
I know a lot of the risks out there, again, are misinformation, fake news, things like that. Is there anything that you're focused on as we're also in an election cycle, frankly, across the world for this year?
Yeah. So look, I think we're always very mindful of the fact that we have 150,000 employees across the world. We do business in over 50 countries. I think the best sort of inoculation for a company from a cybersecurity perspective, apart from obviously technology, is the culture, right? We want to make sure that our people understand the risks that are there, and that they are very mindful and thoughtful in how we build technology for our clients and make sure that we keep them secure at all times.
What are you most looking forward to at the World Economic Forum? It's amazing. I know, a lot of times people say, look, it's just for the elite, it never gets done, but it's amazing how many people are going, and the fact that at least it's a good forum for people to get together and maybe do business.
Yeah. So look, I think, we were just talking before this. This is going to be my 10th time at the World Economic Forum. And for me, it's always incredible what a great turnout there is. But more importantly, the fact that people are open, right? And sometimes you catch early trends in Davos. So for instance, people in Davos have been talking about AI for the past 4 or 5 years, well before it became mainstream. So I'm actually very keen to know, will a lot of the discussion be around, for instance, bioengineering, or will it be around space technology? So you always catch some of the early trends in Davos. And again, looking forward to meeting with clients, meeting with old friends, and coming back with a new set of ideas to take forward into 2024.